Hello and welcome to the afternoon show with me, Joe Good, with you till 5. And then, of course, Chris Rogers takes over, sitting in for Eddie on Drive. I am really, really excited. I have met our next guest before when he was singing a cappella on the Saturday Breakfast Show, but I haven't seen him since his stint in the jungle. And as everyone knows, I love reality television. And he has a Christmas single out, which fits nicely because we, on a Friday afternoon, like to do music. And we're also going to introduce 3 tracks, which we're going to invite him to vote on, as well as all of you at home. I am so pleased to say, joining me in the studio is Limahl. Welcome.
Hi, Joe.
I'm so excited because you are still tanned, actually, from Sydney.
Yeah, I only got back 2 days ago. Still jet lagged, waking up at 4 in the morning, which is 12 o'clock in noon in Australia. No, it's 2 in the afternoon, so my body's all confused, but I'm slowly getting there.
I loved you in it. I absolutely loved you. I loved you from the moment you arrived because we'd seen this ridiculous Helen, whatever her name is, and I can't remember her surname. Flanagan, being, you know, totally useless. And there you were with Rosemary. I mean, just for anyone who didn't watch it, and I know there are people, it's like Marmite, actually, reality television. You love it or loathe it. A lot of my listeners love it, and a lot of my listeners will have seen you.
Yeah.
But for those who didn't, just explain what happened when you arrived.
Basically, we had to spend our opening night in the Bushman's Refuge hut, which was a tiny place in the middle of the jungle. When we walked through the door, it was dimly lit and the door locked behind us. And then they released, over the first hour and a half, 160 rats, 2,000 beetles, 2,000 cockroaches, 10,000 crickets, which make this horrible noise and are crawling up and down the wall and bouncing off, and then 10 huge spiders. And there was nowhere. There were 2 beds, but you couldn't sleep on them because it was just a creature everywhere. And we had to stay there all night to win coffee, tea and biscuits for our campmates. As late arrivals, that was really important to me and Rosemary. But of course, I also had to put up with Rosemary's
snoring and
wind. Shall we say wind?
Yes, sorry, yes, the other end. But you did it, you know, and that's why you had every right to question this Helen, actually, which you didn't do for a long time. And I loved it when you just said, really diplomatically, why are you here? You know, did no one tell you were going to be expected to do these things?
Yeah.
You were really diplomatic with her.
Yeah, and she took real offence to it. I only said the same thing as Eric, but Eric waited a day till she'd calmed down. But when I said it really, and I was a new arrival. She was just, in her mind, she was like, "Who the hell are you to question? You don't know anything, you know." But they've nicknamed it the Flanagan famine. And the poor campmates were absolutely starving. So when we said those magic words, "We're here," and we spent the night in the Bushman's Refuge with tea, coffee. In fact, they jumped up and screamed before I got to biscuits. So I said tea and coffee, and everyone screamed. They said, "And biscuits." We got another scream. Yeah, I was really proud of that, actually.
Do you know Tony Blackburn, of course, who works on this station, was king of the jungle.
Indeed.
And I always, whenever I see him, we always end up talking about it, because part of me really envies you lot that did it, only because I would love to know how I would behave.
Yes.
With my liberty taken. Yes. in a pack situation.
Yes.
You know, because I am quite a loner. I like to go home alone and shut my front door for nowhere to hide. Literally, no. It's like holding a mirror to yourself to see how you are. Your true self comes out, which you must be pleased with, because you were just lovely. You know, there was no side to you at all.
I was like the swan, a little bit, you know, graceful on the water and pedaling like mad underneath. The day that I was going in, I was falling to pieces in my hotel room.
Why?
I just thought, I'm not going to be able to cope, and they're going to carry me off on a stretcher, and I'm going to be a complete embarrassment. Because the build-up to it, you know, the medic comes in and tells you you've got to watch out for the most venomous spider in the world, the blue web funnel spider.
Yes.
and the poisonous snakes, and he's telling you all this, and you know you're going to be sleeping on the jungle floor. He reassures you, of course, that there's security, blah blah blah. But I can be guilty of what's called catastrophic thought process, and I think, well, no one's ever died on the show, but obviously I'm going to be the first.
Because, well, I dread to think how insurance covers all of you for that lot, of course, because you know, I grew up in Australia, and I know that these, you know, they can try and guarantee that you aren't going to get a funnel web near you, but no one can in Australia. They're buying toilet seats, they're like everywhere.
Oh,
so,
are you from Australia?
well, I spent the first 12 years of my life
so
there.
You know it, okay?
Yes, and it's a very hard country, even though you've got a camera crew around you and everything.
Yes.
It's quite ruthless, and it is, you know, whatever you think about Big Brother, they never let them starve, but you lot, they leave you to starve. If no one does it, you don't get the food, and that's it. No negotiation. And that's when everyone's tempers fly. You know yourself, you know, midday if you've not eaten and your blood sugar goes, you get really crotchety, don't you? If you're going days without food, that's when you must see red eye with your campmates.
You are in touch with a part of your self that you've never been in touch with before, that you go into this, your body, I guess, and your mind has gone into this survival mechanism, you know, this survival trick of the mind, if you like. And you know, thrown in with all that, you're among all these complete strangers, these egos,
yes.
You know, all skilled in their own field, if you like, and you don't know the time of day. You never know the time of day, and suddenly, when you don't have a watch and you don't know the time of day, you want to know. You badly want to know, and so you're always second guessing what time of day it is. How long do we have before we go to bed? Will we win any food today? Oh, shut up! I've had enough of you. You know, and there's cameras everywhere. So the pressure of the cameras. It's a, you know, it really is a total mind.
One of the lovely bits that I saw from this outtake, the documentary that I saw the other night, I often talk on this radio station about my over-the-bridge family. You know, I always think, God, who would be waiting for me over the bridge? You know, there are so few people. I don't have a partner. I have a tiny, tiny family, you know. Yeah. So I don't know who on earth would be waiting for me over the bridge. You had your partner, and I didn't know until you came in today to say that you've been together 19 years, because you both look so in love with each other still. And that was wonderful to see that joy of having him there. And then on this particular programme, they followed you back to the hotel, which was wonderful. You lying on white cotton sheets, still in your grubby little outfit from the jungle. It was so lovely to see all that. But is it, I mean, you that is what keeps you going, isn't it? The thought he's going to be there over the other side of the bridge.
You know, when I left home in North London to get in the taxi, he had put a card in my hand luggage unbeknown to me, and I found it in the taxi. And you know, we were both, we've been together 19 years, and although we're still in love, you know what it's like in a relationship of that length. There's a certain, not complacency, but there's a certain knowing that comes into it. And suddenly the idea that I was going 10,000 miles to the other side of the world, and I wouldn't be able to contact him, because when you arrive, the rules are you're in lockdown. They take your mobile phone, your laptop, you've got no access. They don't want you finding out what's going on in the show. That's one of the reasons they do that. It's all part of the psychological build-up. So Steve, you know, my wonderful partner Steve, he just wrote the most, it was like Shakespeare. And I'm in the taxi going to Heathrow in tears on the back seat, and I could see the driver looking at me thinking, does he not like my driving or something?
Yes, well, he's melodramatic and everything. Can I ask you now, and this is my last question about it, and it's probably oh gosh, it's such a girly question, this, but because you're going to be shown in every single, it's like, I love the fact the girls can't wear makeup. You're shown waking up. Everyone waking up looks awful, I've discovered, even the real young beauties. You're shown with your clothes on, without your clothes on. Do you, in the hotel before you go in there, do you think, right, I'm going to diet so I'm going to look fantastic? Or do you think I'm going to eat so much because once I'm in there, I'm going to be starving, so I'm just going to pack as many calories in as possible? Or do you not consider any of that just prior to going in?
Well, I was only booked for the show about 3 weeks before it happened, and apparently they often do just leave it to the last minute because they're juggling a lot of names and who's available, is somebody ill, and so on. So I didn't really have a choice on that. I'm thin anyway. I'm quite fit. I swim about 3 times a week, and I cycle, and I do go to the gym a little bit. But I didn't lose that much weight. I didn't put any on, that's for sure. I lost about 6 pounds. When I got back to the hotel and looked in the mirror, I was quite horrified. I looked quite emaciated, I thought. And so that starvation is real.
Really?
Oh, totally.
Right, we're getting emails and texts through. This is Robin in Battersea who says, it's so great to hear Limahl talking about his experiences. I didn't watch it, but he comes over now as a really nice bloke and really well-centred. What a shame he didn't win. As for Rosie from Corrie, what planet was she on? Love you madly, Robin in Battersea. I mean, in the end, you realise she was for real, actually. People were saying she had a game plan. That was her, wasn't it?
Ashley or Charlie?
Oh, sorry. I'm talking about... Helen. Yeah.
Helen. Yeah, I'm a bit, conspiracy theorist, and I wondered, is this whole thing an act? Nobody surely
can survive in show business like that. But you suddenly realise, because I watched her on Coronation Street, and I thought, what a great character, but that's her. I mean, it is...
It is almost typecasting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, the girl is very sweet, but, her survival technique for real life shocked me. I remember I was the second day, she fell asleep in the sun. Now, you're from Australia, you know.
And look at my liver spots. You never do that.
You don't do that. No. She's got white skin, and she was exhausted, and the people hadn't eaten, and she's falling asleep. And of course, when she woke up, she had some quite serious burns. She had to go and see the medic. She wasn't eating. She wasn't sleeping properly, and then one day on the trial, she got all this green gunge all over her, bless her, and she went down to the pool, the rock pool, to wash her clothes, but she didn't hang them out to dry, and then she had no proper clothes. Then she got cold, and I remember watching Nadine, the MP, say to her, darling, your feet have gone purple, and that's because your blood has gone to all your major organs just to keep you warm. And she went, yeah, I'm feeling a bit cold.
It's just, she's extraordinary. Final question, okay, and then I'll shut up about it. Will any of them be on your Christmas card list? Or do you quite happy never see any of them again?
Well, Hugo Taylor from Made in
Chelsea.
At the wrap party, he was very wise, because when you're busy, you tend to put these things off. He got a A4 sheet, and he got everybody to write down their email address and their phone number. And then he went off to the reception and got it photocopied, and everyone got it in an envelope. So I've had a couple of tweets with Colin Baker, Mr. Doctor Who, and he's going to be in a play in Poole in January. So we're going to go down and see him. Rosemary, with Rosemary, and I think somebody else wants to come. And Hugo says he's going to open a nightclub and he's going to invite me. The weird thing about Hugo is his girlfriend lives on my street.
She's amazing. They're so beautiful. See, I
Their
watched
kids
that
are going to be gorgeous.
Aren't they? I mean, this is breeding, isn't they? Like racehorses, aren't they? It's just like good breeding.
Totally.
I could talk to you for ages, but let's now talk about your single, which I'm going to play in just a moment. When did you record this then? Well before you went in, obviously.
February. I did the vocal in February. And I've had a lifelong ambition to write a Christmas song. There are certain songs at Christmas that always make you feel warm inside. And every January after Christmas, I always thought, now I've got to do it. And I put it off and I put it off, and I thought, I can't write a Christmas song because they've all been written. It's as simple as that. And then I met this fabulous jazz pianist singer who's regularly at the Savoy Hotel, American Bar, John Nicol. And John and I talked about possibly working on something, and it was wonderful because we had no record deal, no deadline, no manager saying, come on, we need something. We just got together and we were jamming, and I said, I've always wanted to write a Christmas song, and he said, yeah, I'm up for that. And then I said, I've always wanted to write a song about London, because I've lived here 30 years and I've travelled the world and I'm passionate about this city. And so we said, well, look, why don't we combine the two ideas? Let's write a Christmas song about London. And that's where that's how the song came about.
Where did you record it?
I recorded it at the Strong Room in Shoreditch, and at the producer's studio in Suffolk, Ian Curnow, who had a #1 hit with E17 Stay Another Day, which was another big Christmas hit in the 90s.
Sorry, just chatting. I love that piano crash. Sorry, that's my description. How would you call that?
Just
that tinkle at the end.
Well, can you hear? It's like a Big Ben sound.
It's a dong. It's like a gong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. That's Limahl's Christmas single, and we were just saying, if I heard that and I was in Australia, I would burst into tears. Well, I love this city. I absolutely love this city so much. And as you said, everyone gets very emotional this time of year anyway, for all sorts of reasons. But what a year it's been. What a perfect year to bring out a London Christmas single. We've had the Olympics, the Paralympics, the Jubilee and everything. It's been a massive year for the city, hasn't it? So it's quite fitting there should be a single.
Well, there's all these great songs about, I Love Paris, one of my favourite recordings by Ella Fitzgerald. And then you've got I'll Take Manhattan, all about Manhattan. You've got songs about New York, Chicago, San Francisco. In America, you've got songs about places that are probably not that interesting. Amarillo, San Jose. So I've always felt London had possibly been a little bit shortchanged, apart from, obviously the classics like A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square and the streets of London. Is it Ralph McTell?
Ralph McTell,
But they're really old. Nothing sort of...
And you were saying that the contemporary mentions of the London Eye, Selfridges, immediately brings it completely up to date, doesn't it? It's and Selfridges, again, that's Christmas for me. I love Selfridges. The Selfridges window is just... I still don't know who does that. I must get them on, Dan, actually. Their window is amazing. Have you seen the shoe, the stiletto made out of saucepan lids?
Absolutely, and I think, we love big department stores. We love the drama of them. You feel like you're going into somewhere really special. And, we've got, there's a few in London. We are so lucky, So you've got Selfridges, Fortnum & Masons, Harrods, etc.
If you go out of here tonight, which you'll just go down probably Regent Street, and it's just, you just stand and look at it and think this is amazing. Because when I was a kid... it was never like this. It was never this. The lights now are spectacular.
They get better and better.
Well, technology is extraordinary, isn't it? And you just go, oh my goodness. And and I was saying on this show, the magic of this show is I come on in daylight, I go home and it's dark, and it's all out there. It's stunning for Christmas.
Can I just mention, Joe, that my single is available as a download only. So people don't go into a record shop asking for it. It's download from places like Amazon and iTunes and things like that, which actually for singles is, I think it's like 90% of the singles market now is download anyway, so it's only on a par with what everybody else is doing.
And can I also say how lovely you are, because and by the way, we've got loads of texts coming through. Alan here says, Joe, welcome home, Limahl, I love you on the show and thank you for telling Helen how it is. Loads of other people just saying hello from Western Australia. Hello, Limahl. But can I just say, and it's the more I talk to people in the music industry, I start to get it, because you just looked at me almost emotional saying, I just love hearing this going out on a radio. You said to me, this is so nice to hear this going out on the radio station.
Well, it's the first play.
Is it? Oh,
it's
there you go.
It's the first play. I was so excited. I've done a couple of TV things, but I was talking to the co-writer this morning on the phone, and I said, I can't wait to hear it on the radio.
Yes.
It's something about...
And your eyes filled with tears. You're as soppy as I am. I just cry. But music, that's why it's there. That's why art is there, isn't it?
Yes.
It's, so all the emotions can come to the surface.
Well, we've really put our hearts and soul into that song. I hope it shows. And that's really why why I got emotional when you were listening to it and telling me you thought it was wonderful.
Well, I turned it up full blast, and then it did. I've got this saying when I go, I want it to do this, please let it go where I want it to go, and then you get that full
I call it the Disney section.
Yeah, the Disney section.
I call it the Disney section. Ian Curnow did such a great job on the arrangement and the production. He's old school. He goes right back to the sort of PWL days. And, you know, when I did the recording, I wanted to change the key because it felt too low. And because, you know, my voice, everybody knows my voice is quite high. Never Ending Story is like all G's, top G's, and Too Shy is F sharp, a semitone below.
Oh, is it?
Yes, and this song sort of introduces the lower part of my voice that most people they'll go, who is that voice? I think I know it because I'm not singing shy, you know, I'm not up there. It's all a bit lower, a bit warmer.
Dan laughing.
And Ian insisted that we kept it in that key. So Ian, good on you, mate.
F sharp. Right, Limahl is staying with us. Ruth Barnes, music broadcaster as well, is going to be joining us. And all of you, we're going to play 3 tracks, hit or miss. It's up to you to decide. And we'll also give you all the details. Well, you can download Limahl's track, but we'll give you all those details again after the 4:30 news coming up now with Katie.